Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Rafi Sosikian here at PinnacleQuant.com. It is August 7th. It's approximately 10:46 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Beautiful day that we're having today. Beautiful weather. Thank God. So I wanted to share my screen with you guys today. I've essentially deployed Price Action Pivoter V5 AI Build 1006, the upcoming release, on several different instruments. What you see on your screen is GC and ES. I also have NQ, MNQ, as well as CL, which I'll be sharing with you as well. Plus, I have a bunch of different backtests that I've run on NQ and ES, which happens to be essentially the two futures instruments that majority of the clients, a great majority of the clients here use. So let's just start out really quickly with the GC so I can share exactly what's going on, and we'll go through all the instruments and I'll go through some of the back tests. So this is GC. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual parameters that were used on this so you guys can see exactly what it is. So we have Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. The minimum measure move is $50. Some clients change this to higher numbers, some turn it off by putting zeros there. Essentially, the AI training desired profit and AI training risk per trade were automatically selected because I had used the PQ range tracker AI training there, as you can see. So in this upcoming model, 1006, build 1006 of Price Action Pivoter, you get to choose the minimum percentage threshold. It can be any number between 60 to 90%. I've used 80% here. I had scheduled it to run at 5:48 my time, so prior to RTH trading hours of 6:30, as you guys saw there. And so I had enabled PQNews. Most clients leave it at about 50 minutes. I've seen some clients use 5 minutes, 2 minutes previously, but 15 minutes seems to be working for me. I have the net session profit limit of 50,000, very high. Net session loss limit of 2,000. This, however, is calculated after the trade exits. Okay, so if you wanted to calculate while the trade is still live upon bar close, this is a bar close strategy, then you would have to do that on the next one here, which is net session loss. Okay, notice in the parentheses exit on bar close, and anytime you highlight over any one of these parameters with your mouse, it gives you details about it. So you don't necessarily have to reference the actual reference manual, though I strongly recommend you guys read through it at least once. Yes, it's a bit long now. It's 65 plus pages, but please read it because this is very advanced software. It's very sophisticated, and it's good for you to know what everything, with all the parameters that you're getting and what everything does. Okay, so now another interesting thing I didn't use, which is something that clients have mentioned in the past as well, is the high watermark. This is something that people want. So I've now will have it available in 1006, and so it is available. I did not use it here, but you could use it, and I can show you guys exactly what I mean, how this could have been useful. Let's just move on with the other one. So with the peak high low trailing stop, 600, 500, this is hard money, plus an adverse AI signal. There is a combined scale and long that has the stop. So if it were to hit $1,200 in a combined, if you had 3 legs running on your scale and trades, which is the maximum you can have, then it would have essentially looked at the calculations for across all 3 of them. You could also choose to have individual scale and legs, which I will show in other instruments here. For GC, I just left it plain vanilla, not any type of granular specificity when it comes to the scale and trades. But there's lots of different styles, guys. Many people are quite sensitive to what that number is, so now you have the ability to be granular about it. Each scale and trade has its own trailing stop that it's using. Just to put it in perspective, guys, the stop logic alone in build 1006, just the stop logic is over 11,000 lines of code. Okay, so this isn't something that you can say, hey, ChatGPT, bro, give me this most complicated stop logic you can find, and it's going to spit out 11,000 lines of code for it. It's just not going to happen, guys. You might get about 500 lines to maybe 800 lines or something like that from ChatGPT. Maybe if you ask Claude, you might get like 1,200 lines or something like that, but you're not going to get any type of this kind of advanced granular control over the logic. All right, they'll be lost. They won't be able to give you all of this. It's it's way too difficult for AI to even for AI to do, unless of course you give it to it first and then it has an idea of what you've done, then it can embellish it. But from scratch, no, it's not going to be possible. It's not going to give you that kind of result. So let's just keep going here. You have early windfall, which I haven't used. Again, plain vanilla. I haven't used MATR. My price target is $32.50, $3,250. My risk per trade is $1,500. And you have all sorts of rapid rejection ability here, both on the profit target side as well as on the stop side. Because sometimes, no matter what you do, no matter the most advanced, sophisticated ML models, and this is certainly one of them, if it's certainly the most advanced I've ever developed over these years, and I could tell you that you're still going to be at times buying the top or buying the bottom, or shorting the bottom, I should say. And so for those instances, you can, for example, time it. You can say if that happens within, let's say, 5 bars, then essentially stop, make my stop a lot less. So you can say, for example, if you enable the rapid rejection guard, okay, and you could do it via ATR, which is measured off the ATR 5, or you can do it off of a hard dollar amount. So you can put in, like, for example, let's say $300. If it goes against your trade within, I have a 1 to 35 bars, but let's say you had it at 2 bars or 3 bars or 5 bars, 4 bars, whatever number you have. If you have a rapid rejection loss of, let's say, $400, let's just pick another number, within 4 bars, or $400 within 2 bars, then it's going to essentially stop you out of $400 as opposed to $1,500. So you take a stop loss. So when the system is wrong, which, it's not the hand of God, guys, so it's going to make mistakes at times. And so even, at 80% or 90%, let's say you had used 90% probability, which is based off of past data, that means 1 out of 10 would be wrong. Even if, of course, if you looked at that over 1,000 trades. You don't look at that after 5 trades or 10 trades. That's ridiculous. Probabilities are not measured on such small data sets. But if you had 1,000 trades, you would look at it and you're getting to 90%. That means that 100 of those 1,000 trades would be wrong. So the only place where people make no mistakes is on TikTok. You got to find this young guy. He's got a lot of Ferraris that he rents, he's got a beach house. He thinks that nobody knows about Airbnb. And that guy hasn't taken a loss since he was 12 years old when he first started trading. He's now 24. But, back in the day when he took a single loss, that was it. But it was really a push because he was trading Forex and the commissions are out of whack. They're so high on Forex that he had to take a little bit of a loss there. Oh, the trade itself was just a push. So, but anyway, enough about that guy. Let's go back to reality. And the reality is that this is what you can do. You can do that on the profit target side where it has a nice big win. Let's say in 5 bars you had $1,000 or 3 bars you had $1,000. That's something that you can control yourself. So you have a lot of granular control over what's happening over your trades, and you have powerful money management tools as well. So you can trade, those are the number of contracts. I'm trading 1 contract, very important to get that right. The set Globex time, that's your ETH hours, okay, for me. When does the session start for you? For me, it's at 3 p.m. If you're in Central Time, it would be 5 p.m. If you're in Eastern Time, it would be 6 p.m. Most of my European and Asian clients, they're essentially either trading Central Time or Eastern Time, depending on which VPS provider they're using. And if you guys have questions about VPS providers, certainly let me know. Again, lots of experience here as to which ones are good, which ones are bad. I can tell you that from experience, which ones I like and which ones my clients have liked. Tactical scaling, this is essentially where you can have additional legs. The current model is more conservative, significantly so, because when it comes to war on, war off, or any such other erratic price action, now there is on Truth Social, you can essentially buy the posts that the president would be making in advance, not much more in advance, but you can buy it in advance. I believe they're currently marketing that at $100,000. In any case, that kind of stuff moves markets, guys, and it does, make price action erratic. So I do have a solution for that as well. We'll get to that in a minute. But as far as that goes, so you can essentially do the tactical legs here. You could say if I'm up, if I'm down, or if I'm up, you can essentially do it that way. You can set it up. You can see the parameters there. Pretty straightforward. Flatten everything. That's the time where the market is, you're going to essentially be out of the trade no matter what. Up, down, sideways, you're out. You can also This is an interesting one too, which we might see in this video because I'm going to let this video run, you guys. This is going to be a long video because I want you guys to see it all the way until the end. So those who are interested, I've never made a video quite like this before where I've tried to follow the YouTube sort of best practices that they tell you where you're supposed to make it short, that people don't have an attention span anymore, that you're supposed to make a blurb of a video, like 3 minutes tops, this and like, I know all these rules. And, I'm not going to follow any of it, guys. Instead, I'm just going to give you the truth, the facts. I am going to let this video run, and it might be, in fact, it will be. It's currently 10:57. It's going to stop. I'll probably turn it off at around 1 p.m. my time. So this is going to be a long recording. Why 1 p.m.? Because as you can see here, 12:59 is where it's going to flatten everything. So around 1, if I have anything further to add to the video, I will towards the end of the video. I likely will have something to end. But this essentially the 32 minutes before, so it's calculated from that time. So essentially it looks up to 12:59, it subtracts 32 minutes from it, and it says if it's up at least, it'll essentially park the stop at, I put $10 here, okay? But obviously you can put 50, you can put 100, you can put 200, whatever number you want. But essentially it's saying, I don't want to lose anything on that last trade. That's what that means. This is GC. I've left it at 10 for all of them. And it really, essentially, for other instruments, like for example, for ES, the minimum tick is 1250. So it automatically adjusts for that. You don't have to worry about it. For GC, it is $10. For CL, it is $10. But for other ones, like for example, for NQ, it's going to be $5. So $10 would require at least 2 ticks of profit. It parks it there. It parks it there to ensure that you have at least that much profit before the market closes. But just bear in mind there are other issues there as well. It's not an issue. It's just that there's slippage in this world, and so by the time if it placed it in advance, there's going to be no slippage. If it does it right on bar close, then there could be slippage. Okay, so if it's done in advance, there's no slippage. But if it happens right on bar close, there's slippage. So technically, I have to say there may be slippage. Okay, so this is GC. Let's take a look at the trades. I went through all of the parameters for you guys, and I'll do that for all 5 instruments here. So this was GC for today. Again, 6:30 is when we started. Long, short. You see, guys, how sensitive it is? Okay, so the signals were coming in, and the signals for GC, let's take a look at. There it is. Those are the signals for GC that were coming in. This is HigherEdgeAI. So the signals that are coming in live, this was it. So you have that happening, and then you have, let me make sure that everything's correct. Yeah, everything. So this is long, short, long. One of these, I think, caught that's the one. It caught the top right there. Those are heartbreaks. It's booming in the right direction. Plenty of room. Nope, not going to happen. That took a loss. But it caught itself. So it went long. It's like, nope, that's wrong. Let's go short. And it did. It learns. This is another thing. The HigherEdgeAI 3.0 model is a lot more sensitive than the previous models before it. So it is retraining itself every 12 minutes. Okay, it is literally retraining itself using the past data every 12 minutes. And the reason for that is I wanted to take advantage of these situations where previously it was taking longer. It was taking approximately 2 hours for it to retrain itself. Now it's 12 minutes. So I've done all sorts of programming in the back end, you guys, to make sure that it can handle it. So multi-processing, multi-threading, all sorts of things to speed this thing up. And it is super fast as I can possibly make it with the technology that we currently have in place. Okay. So that's what it's got. It's got no further trades, I think, so far. So that's GC. Let's look at, well, I guess since ES is up already, let's take a look at ES. So this is ES. Okay. Oh, let me take a backtrack here, guys. This is This is the PQNews for GC. You can see the instrument we printed there. It gives you the general economic event. We had non-farm payrolls today, and it's a Friday. And there is still instability in the Middle East. I'm watching the news not because of politics, because I could care less about politics. I am 100% apolitical. But I do watch the news because it does impact my clients and it does impact the trading world. So that I definitely watch the news for those reasons. But it's essentially the Middle East is a mess. And we're going to, I think everybody's watching it. And so anytime you go into the weekend, well, not nobody, but it's more difficult for people to want to hold their positions. When I say people, I mean larger market participants. Okay, most people tend to not hold their positions over the weekend. When I say people, I mean retail. However, on the commercial side, it's not. It's pretty routine for them to hold it for a while. They might hold it for a few days, a few weeks. But when it comes to weekends, they get, especially if there is instability in the market, they get a little bit concerned about that. So you might have some more instability towards the end of the session today. Okay, so we'll see. But that's what we're expecting because there was econ news, Nonfarm Payrolls, and there is instability. That's something that you have to keep in mind. But again, we're trying to solve that as best as we possibly can with PQNews 2.0. And I'll share with you in CL what that means, because in CL it already blocked a particular direction, and I'll share that with you in a second here. But let's go through ES since that's up already. Each one of these will have their own, and it's all automated, guys. So once you enable the strategy, if you've enabled PQNews, it will come on, and it will essentially, if it finds news that it's a lot of programming and a lot of words that it's looking for in the news, it's a lot. Okay, it's thousands of lines of code just trying to figure out, what words are going to be said in headline news, so that it essentially, once Gemini, which is what you're going to need, Gemini API key, once Gemini identifies the news, how do we interpret that news? Because if you ask Gemini, which I was doing in a previous version, to essentially try to come up with the interpretation in a previous version that I never released because it wasn't working. If you ask Gemini AI to interpret the news, guys, it's almost like you can bet against it. Fade Gemini News's interpretation, not Gemini News, but Gemini's interpretation, and you'll likely make money. So if it says, do not go short, if you went long, do not go short, and if you went short, you would actually make money. If it said, do not go long, and if you actually went long, you would make money if you just left it to Gemini. So I had to essentially step in and interpret it based on what it finds, have the right interpretation. So that took a long time, guys. That's not something you can say, hey, AI, give me all words. It's just not going to happen. So a lot of these things that a lot of people think that AI can do, guys, as a software engineer, I'm telling you, it cannot do it. Believe me, I would love my work to be, happening a lot sooner, within minutes as opposed to within months. That would be great, okay? But it's just not possible. I'm trying. It's not working. AI is not able to give you the kind of responses that you're looking for, okay? It's impossible. Not on a single, that's just ridiculous, okay? Yes, it can help you fix things within your code. For example, if you give it a lot of code, thousands or tens of thousands of lines of code, you can essentially say, can you find the bug in this? Yes, that it can actually do quite well. It will find the bug in that. But, and not always, but in most of the time it will. But I can tell you that if you say, come up and give me this incredible strategy, make me millions of dollars, I paid you $20 or I paid you $200, come on, Gemini. Guys, think about it. There are the owners, right? Sam Altman, the Dario guy from Claude. These guys run the ship, right? They're the captains. Why don't they do it? Like, think about it. Okay, why don't they come up and, say, hey, Claude, give me the best app in the world, okay? And I'm going to just put it on the App Store, and I'm going to make all this money from that app. Hey, Claude or ChatGPT, give me this best code. I'm going to start trading, and I'm going to make billions of dollars trade. Guys, they can do it, right? But they're out here trying to raise money from investors, from people that, I used to run in circles with. They're like, come on, invest, guys. $1 billion, we're going to do this. We're going to build data centers. You should see these guys. Why are they doing all that stuff if it's so good? Like, it's just not, doesn't make sense, right? Plus, think about the value proposition. You're going to give Claude or ChatGPT $20 or $200, and it's going to give you like millions and billions of dollars in return. I mean, think about that. Is that fair? It doesn't make sense, does it? Anything that doesn't make sense, you should, consider that, because there's a lot of calls that I go on. They're poor guys like Ruff. I spent 6 months fighting with ChatGPT. I cursed at ChatGPT. I was like slamming my fist in the air at ChatGPT. And I was yelling at ChatGPT. ChatGPT just couldn't understand it. Everything it said was wrong. I tried for months to get this to work. And my strategy wouldn't work with ChatGPT. Guys, please be realistic. Okay, don't waste your time. Don't do that. It's like my brother who used to, we used to share a gardener. I referred my gardener to my brother, who was an excellent landscaper too. My brother got a quote from him. He didn't like the price. So he goes, I'll do it myself. My gardener visits each of our houses once a week. He goes, Rafi, your brother has been doing this project that he told me to do for 5 weeks now. I could have finished it in 3 days. My guys, my team and I would have handled the whole thing, A to Z. 3 days. It's been 5 weeks. He decided to do it on his own. And that wasn't the worst part. What he didn't know about my brother is he ended up in the hospital. He hurt his back so badly lifting that stuff that he ended up in the hospital. Okay? This is the kind of stuff that you don't want to do, guys. If you are not an expert, if you think that AI can be, that's the go-to, you're wasting your time. You'll waste months of your time and not get to where you want to get to. Not only that, the results will be bad. Not just bad, really bad, months afterwards. So don't do this. Lots of these guys do it for 6 months, and then they come back to me, Rafi, I'm just going to sign up. I can't do it. So don't save yourself time. The most valuable commodity that you and I have in this world is our time. That's not something that you can ever get back, ever. It's never, you can make money, you can lose money. That's normal. People do it all the time. But what's not something that we can recover is our lost time. So save yourself that headache. Do not lose time doing stuff that is already available and is done much better and in a professional way by an actual licensed professional. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead, and this is ES. That's ES. So notice no scale in, boom, scale in right there. That's a scale in trade. You can see it. Zoom in if you can't on your video. Scale in short L1. And let's see if we have we have another trade right here. We are long in this position. Okay, so 77.69. Currently, as we speak, we are long. Okay, as I speak, we are long. So not much movement here so far. It's been pretty much sideways, but we'll see what happens. We have until about another hour and 50 minutes or so until the market closes. So let's see what happens. All right, let's move on to some other instruments that it is trading. Let's take a look at, let's take a look at CL since I talked about CL. There was, best of my knowledge, there was no trade on CL, but let's see why. So let me take over that chart. Okay, let's reposition things for you guys because I want to bring in PQNews for CL, which is right here. This is PQNews for CL. So what are these boxes? Let's talk about that. Okay, let's go up all the way where it first got some headline news. Okay, headline news. Veto is already in force for this market, short block. So basically it's letting you know that I've just placed essentially a block for this. Okay, a block for what? Veto triggered, blocking shorts this lookup cycle. Reason, it's always going to be a very generic reason like geopolitical risk event. That's generic. But if you wanted to read details about it, it's right here. So it's right there, reported by CNBC. Headline watch, oil prices jump after Iran publishes restrictive draft plan for Strait of Hormuz. You can see this. This is what I said in the previous video as well, guys. And it's been happening for the last few months. This isn't new. This war on, war off news cycle that we've been in is causing erratic price action. And that's the issue. So news becomes an important thing here, okay? It becomes crucial, really. And that's why I spent so much time on PQNews. A lot of my time was spent, probably about 50% of my time was spent just on PQNews and about 40% on HigherEdgeAI 3.0 and about 10% improving, which is the easier stuff for me, on improving the actual code in build 1006 so that it's far more granular and you have the stop logic essentially balloon to where it did so that you can have a high watermark, granular control. There are so many different types of stops, guys, to be defensive on this. I mean, I've given you everything that is possible to give, to actually use in any trading environment. So it's all there and it's all automated for you. If you want to be granular, you want to have money management. For example, if you have a goal of making $1,000 today, that's your, God willing, that's your goal. Always say God willing, guys. I have this thing where you always have to say God willing. You don't say God willing, that's not good. You always got to give honor to God, okay? So God willing, if he does that, if God willing you can make $1,000, then you should express that. You should put it in the net session profit number, or if you say, hey, no, I want to be a little bit more risky today. I want $1,000. If it hits that, then start essentially measuring the high watermark. I want to put a backstop in, meaning you can say 50% high watermark 1,000. So if it goes up $1,000 in profit, that's realized and unrealized, it's going to essentially, and if you put it at 50%, it's going to say the backstop is at 500. But if it then improves so that $1,000 becomes $2,000, your backstop is now $1,000. If it goes from $2,000 to $3,000, your backstop is now $1,500 because you had put it at 50%. Okay, so it moves with the market and it tries to protect your profit, and that's, you have that kind of control now. This is stuff that, you know, you're gonna have if you were to monitor what, you know, and you guys know that in my past life I was essentially set up to work with smaller hedge funds, okay, the ones that had AUMs of like below $250 million, and so this is the kind of stuff that they're doing exactly. All right, so you have exact what they have at their disposal, at your disposal, at a fraction of the price that they would pay. If they were to hire me to do this, it would be about 20 times the price that I'm charging now. Plus, there would be a yearly management fee for me to be able to do the upgrades, which I do for you guys all the time at no additional charge. Once you have the lifetime license, they would have to pay a fee for that too. So they'd have to be on a yearly, essentially, retainer. And it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, you know, you have to bill by the hour. But because I'm, you know, offering this to a large group of you, it makes sense for me to do that at a at a fraction of the cost. But because there is a lot of you, it's essentially financing my operations, what I'm doing. Okay, it's taking care of me. And so that is the real. So I wanted to, let's go back to this. So oil prices jump, Iran publishes restrictive. This is gonna be a long video, so enjoy it. You know, get some coffee, get a donut. Actually, don't get a donut. Get a nice, you know, snack like an apple. Yeah, that's good fiber. Or if you're gonna have a snack, have popcorn. All right, that's a much better snack. No butter. You know, everybody has to take care of themselves. Donuts and stuff like that, they're delicious. Yes, I love them, but we shouldn't be having those at least maybe once a week. I have it, you know, I have muffins once a week or so. But in any case, let's go ahead and go back to this. Oil prices jump after Iran publishes. Okay, it's got the headline watch. It's vetoing, guys. Look what it said. Veto trigger blocking shorts. It found news. It interpreted it correctly. If Iran's going to be doing that, now Trump could come out, or somebody from his administration could come out, like J.D. Vance or somebody, and can say, oh, look at that. It's going down. Okay. All right. No worries. No worries. We are up. So we have some room there. Let's see what happens. It's not over yet. We are up. So anyway, we could take a loss. It's real. This is real time. We could take a loss. Those are the trades so far. We were doing well. Let's see what happens. It could get bought out. You can essentially bounce right there. You can also bounce right there.
Order canceled.
All right, some other order canceled. Let's see what happened. I'm going to switch to that real quick, guys. And I already covered CL. In fact, let me just, CL, you guys heard that, right? Order canceled, so something happened there. This is CL. There were no trades today. Let me just show you. There were no trades. So far, no trades. Like I said, this is a conservative model. So far, no trades. And it is still blocking. Now, the veto can get removed, but price would have to dictate that. Okay, so it's not just price plus price level. So it just doesn't match price. These are price levels. These are not just lines here. These are actual price levels. So you have support, you have resistance. It has to test that level first before the nearest level that it has, before it releases the veto. Okay, so I've said everything I wanted to say about CL. Let's look at what it was that said canceled. I'm going to take a look at NQ because I think we were in a trade there. Let's see what canceled. Yep, that was it. NQ. All right, this is NQ. Let's discuss NQ. So we discussed CL. Let's discuss NQ. This is live, guys. You heard it, right? You heard it in the background. It said order canceled. That beautiful voice, order canceled. All right, let's take a look at the news. First of all, this is, which one of these is HigherEdgeAI? That's NQ right there. Okay, let's look at, that was HigherEdgeAI 3.0. Let's look at the news for NQ, which I believe. Eyes, don't fail me now. Okay, there it is. So that is the news for NQ. There's no veto. It's proceeding as normal. Ooh. The higher, 6.5 or higher, essentially has room for this system to be more aggressive. So, but essentially, let's take a look at what NQ did today. All right, there it is. Good morning. That's how the morning started. 6:30, top of the morning to know. All right, that took a loss. All right, that's going to happen. It's volatile. The initial 30 minutes, depending on which instrument you're studying, it could be the initial 60 minutes of RTH is volatile. I do have some clients who have opted not even to trade that initial hour. So I do have some clients. I cannot recommend that, guys, because there are opportunities that you don't want to miss also, in my humble opinion. Okay, don't listen to me. Do whatever you're comfortable with when it comes to your trades. But in my opinion, you can manage losses using the various parameters that you have. Okay, so you could have, for example, used, if you were worried about this, you could have used the RRG stop, where essentially it's rapid. Let me just show it to you. Why talk about it when I could just show it to you? So you could have used, for example, right there, rapid rejection guard. You could have enabled it. I didn't, but you could have enabled it if you're worried about it, that, you know, right at the top at RTH open, it might go against you. No worries. You can essentially enable it by checking that box. You can have an ATR set. For example, you could say 3, so it would multiply ATR 5 by 3. You could have said 3.3. I have clients that have used 2.2, 3.2, etc. Or you could have, if this becomes an or statement, if you use it to a hard dollar amount. So you could have said if it's $500, so either 3 or $500, and within, let's say, 4 bars, if that happens, then just take the stop, take the loss, a small loss, as opposed to a $1,500 loss, which is what happened here. But let's continue. The day's not over. Let's continue. 1,500. That made money, small win, but it recovered some of the losses. That made money, recovered more of the losses. That made money. That just happened right now. Look at the time. It is 11. What is that? 11:15 or 11:16, something like that. Okay. So maybe 11:14. I just love torturing myself until I get the right answer. The thing is, when you press this guy, because of all the screens, it hides it in the back. There it is. And here it is. It was 11:16. I wasn't wrong. Okay. So it recovered. Let's see what it's doing. Tiny. Is it tiny? All right. So those are it. So far, we're here. That was NQ. Okay. So that's NQ. And I forgot to show you guys, yes, in fact, I didn't show you GC either. So let me show you that. I'll go back. Keep watching the video. If you got nothing to do, you're watching the video. You know, this is a free video. You get to watch it. You get to learn. Why not? Guys, let me ask you something. That's wrong, you guys. That's going to happen because of how that's actually, you're going to say, Rafi, that's wrong? No, it's not right. No, it's actually wrong. Hear me out, okay? NinjaTrader says there's a sort of a weakness in how they report the strategy performance if you have scale in trades. If you are essentially adding 2 legs that you have, it uses a FIFO system. First in, first out. First in, first out. So it attributes your prices to first in, first out trades. All right. I do have a tool, an actual dashboard that you can actually plug in the numbers, the actual CSV from the executions tab, and it will tell you what it is. You don't have to say, Rafi, you just made that up. It's wrong. Okay, let's take a look at the chart. The chart's not going to lie, is it? So here it is. That's the first trade. Do you see a loss there? No loss. Here's the second trade. Do you see a loss here? No loss. Here's the third trade. Do you see a loss? This is where it would mess up. Okay. Why would it mess up? Because it is a scale-in trade. Remember, this was in first. All right. Then came this. It essentially messes up in NinjaTrader strategy performance. When you right click it and you look at the numbers, it messes up when this happens. It's a known situation. You can Google it and find it yourself, guys. FIFO, all right, in NinjaTrader's strategy performance. But as you can see, there are no losses. So when it's reporting a $250 loss here, that's not correct. Okay, 1412. Okay, but it's not 1412. It's really 1662 because that's not correct. And let's just see which one it's for. So It attributed the remember, first in, first out. So it attributed this trade. This was not $1,037. That's wrong. The win here was much smaller. You can see it. Let's leave it open so you guys see it. All right, let's take a look. That's 7772. That's your entry price. Your exit price is 7761. Your entry price on the short for the scale in was 7781.75. Here it's 777. Okay, that's 4.75. Right? It's not even $250. But look at this. You see that? Inter short is this. It's wrong information. You're going to say, Rafi, what? Did you find the bug? I didn't find the bug. They've published this. Okay, this is not that I found the bug. They've published it. They said there is no way for us to determine which came in first, and so they attribute it incorrectly. I have a way of determining that, and I give you the dashboard. You can download it directly from the website, where you can plug in your CSV file, which is off of your executions tab. You right-click it, you export a CSV file, you upload that CSV file there, and it perfectly matches everything. It will perfectly match that. As you can see, there are no losses. Now, this one trade here could take a loss. I don't know yet. We shall see, but it might end up around here someplace. I don't know. I'm guessing. Or it could end up and take a big loss. This is the 2 days ago low. It might end up here. If the market's not happy, we see it end up here. If the market feels a little bit better, depending on the news that's coming out, you guys. I mean, this is, at this point, this is the right thing to do based on past probabilities. That's the right trade. We're essentially going off the probabilities. The past probabilities, this is correct. Now, what happens when you enter? Some news could come out. If it's some other additional news that comes out, and yes, that's going to impact it. How do you protect against that? Again, you have lots of ways of protecting against. Let's talk about one of those ways, which is likely, I think, something that's going to be used quite often by my clients, even though I'm not using it here because I wanted to see plain vanilla what's going on without any money management optimization. Okay, so let's take a look at the money management. This is the new one, guys, available in build 1006. Okay, high watermark session profit trigger. Imagine if I had $1,500 here. Okay, $1,500. All right, and I put my backstop at 50%. That means it's essentially trailing this thing at it's trying to book $750 of profit for me. It's not exact, there's slippage, but that's what it's trying to do. $750. Now, if I take a loss here, if I take a $1,500 loss here, because that's my stop, essentially my 1662 profit, again, it's not 14, that's wrong. It's 16, it's the exact, it's 1662.50. There is no $250. That's wrong. So I'm going to be essentially up only, what is that? $1,500, 60, so $162 with 50 cents. Okay. So that's nothing, right? But if I had that high watermark there, it's going to protect against that. Okay. So you can essentially be defensive in this and say, if I'm up, I don't want to give it back. That's fine. But I wanted to share with you guys just the plain vanilla. What's going on plain vanilla? Let's see what the market does. Right now, it looks like it's going, but it's heading towards there. But we had this sideways action and it broke down. However, that's not real analysis. That's what you would see in like basic YouTube videos. The guy's like, he draws a box around here and he goes, see, it broke below. Okay, that was in 2015, 2016. Okay, but not now. All right, not now. I'm sorry, that's not how it works now. And so all those rules are out the door. And another thing, when it comes to all AI, remember, AI is essentially reading all that wrong information that's on the internet, you guys. Whether you're using Subtract, all those, Reddit, all those guys who essentially have, hey guys, check it out, I developed this, or any one of the actual, more advanced ones like GitHub. All of them are essentially giving you stuff that they code that they tried to use and it failed. So like, might as well get some brownie points out of this. Might as well get some, maybe some recruiter somewhere will see it and will want to hire me and talk about this code and how complicated it was and how hard it was and how difficult it was. And maybe some guy will hire me. Many of those guys have sent me emails saying, please, let's work together. Look at my GitHub stuff, this and that. I pray, I hope they do well. Every time I get one of those emails, I say a little prayer for them because obviously they're needing help. So may God help them. May God bless them. But as far as knowledge goes, AI is getting its knowledge from all of that bad stuff That's bad code. That's all over the internet. Think about it. Just natural thought. Let's say you are, I wish I would have kept that position. Anyway, let's say that you come up with some amazing strategy. Would you just publish it? Like, why would you do that? Why would you publish that amazing strategy? You would never do it. Just like nobody. We just got something, you guys. We just got news. What was this? I missed it before too. ES. What happened? A veto is already in force for this market. That's when it says already, that means like right now. Okay, just don't interpret that already as if it was before that time. No, as you can see, before that time it wasn't. But and you can see the times printed, right? So now it just got it, and I missed this one, and I saw this one. So let's see what happened. Macroeconomic event reported by Reuters, U.S. stock. Okay, so it will block it for this too. U.S. stocks rally after short jobs reporting. So what is it blocking? Blocking shorts. You guys see that? It's blocking shorts. So now, even if HigherEdgeAI gave us the signal that we're looking for, which is the HigherEdgeAI is built on past data, right? It's essentially running on past data. That's how it's able to make those calls. This PQNews is blocking it because I've enabled that in the strategy. All right, so you have full control. You don't want to use PQNews, don't use PQNews, but I have used it, and it's right here. Okay, so you can't say like, oh, how did that happen? It's right here. You have full control over that. Enable PQNews Checker AI. Boom. How often should it check? Every 15 minutes. Okay, so there it is. It's checking. All right. So this is stuff that you guys want to keep in mind. So it did find it and it's keeping. Now, will it remove that? Absolutely. If price warrants it. If it breaks through this, it may remove it. Okay, we'll have to see. It may remove it. It depends on how it breaks it, but it may remove it right where it breaks, if it breaks that level. So we'll see. This will be gone, and we could see it live. All right. Let's see what happens. I mean, 2 days ago low is something that to look out for, but it could also, hit that resistance level. So we'll see. Or in this case, it might hit first this. It's going to hit this one first, then that one, and then that one. We'll see. We'll see what happens towards the close. All right. But overall, guys, think about this. We're at all-time high levels. 2 days ago, August 5th, we hit the all-time high on the SPOOs on ES. So we're near all-time high levels. The market is still very, very strong. Overall, it's considered bullish. Okay. I know bears get mad when I say stuff like that, but sorry, it's the facts. Okay. Right now, overall, the market is very bullish. However, that's not how a day trading system works. We try to take advantage of everything that the market gives us. We're trying to squeeze every penny that we can from the market. Okay, we'll see what happens here. Let's see what else we've got cooking here. Let's look at something else. Oh, I don't think I showed GC as far as what GC, or maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know if it should. I showed the performance there. So that's the performance for GC. Another beautiful example. This is GC, guys. I don't want to get confused. This is GC. You can see it here. Okay. So look at that, cumulative net profit. This is where High-Watermark comes in. I didn't use it, but you could if you wanted to. It was up $2,320. Okay, I can protect that as much. If I wanted to be really aggressive, I can say 80%, protect 80% of that. And it would do that for me. All I have to do is just apply it to the actual strategy. I didn't. I wanted to see plain vanilla. Just let it go, okay, to see what it's doing. I'm essentially just watching to see what it does. So this is where we're at right now with GC. Okay, so let's just close this out or minimize it. So let's take a look. Did I show you guys everything? I think we have MNQ as well, right? I know a lot of you guys trade MNQ. Not a lot, actually. I take that back. Probably about 25% of you trade MNQ, along with other micros. So MNQ had suffered the same fate as NQ did right there. At the top. I mean, technically it had a little bit of a bump there, but it fell down. That one was correct. That one was correct. That one was correct. So this is going to be about break even probably. Maybe a little bit up. Okay, a little bit up. $41. Okay. So that's what we've got so far for NQ. This is a Friday. We have, ooh, look at that, you guys. It's getting close. Let's see what happens. So that's ES. We might end up taking a loss here. So we'll see. That's part of trading, guys. Winning and losing. Okay. So you look at it. You don't look at these things by the day. You don't even look at it by the week. Even when it comes to any type of investing that you do, you guys, you don't. Let's say you're a real estate investor. Let's say a lot of people are. A lot of, especially older people. I consider myself young at 51. But a lot of guys that hit, men that I know that hit 70, 75, they can present to you a portfolio of real estate that they have. I mean, they have very nice real estate investments. Okay, it's all over the world, really. But here's the thing: not one of them said, "I'm gonna buy this thing and I'm flipping it tomorrow. And if this thing doesn't go up in price by tomorrow, then I'm an idiot. I've made a big mistake." No, that's not how investing works in anything. Look, I'm an amateur gardener, you guys. I love planting tomatoes. I love anything. Okay, vegetables, trees. I have fruit trees all over the place. I have vegetables. Here's the thing: you can't expect to plant something in the soil and get a return immediately. It's just not going to happen. Now, there are some vegetables where you can get a return within months. Okay, absolutely. But when it comes to fruit trees, that's not going to happen. Okay, a fruit is more enjoyable, right? It's sweet, but you have to wait for it. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a quarter or two. It's going to take years. Okay, but it will ultimately happen. And so investing is the same thing. Even when it comes to day trading, it's just that we're being more aggressive. So it's, in my opinion, silly not to be aggressive and use a day trading mechanism, like especially if you have significant edge, like I'm giving you here with real-time news and very advanced ML model. In fact, we should, if I can get it, I'd be great if I can go scroll all the way up and I can show it to you. It's probably not going to be there. Oh, there it is. Okay, you can see what it's doing, right? Essentially, there's 3 model candidates that it's picking from. One of them gets picked. It picked Model C. Now, how did it pick Model C? It essentially had 3 different signals generated. It ran those signals based on the CSV, the data that we have, to see which one would have performed best, and it picked that model. Guys, this is the most...
Order submitted.
Oh, there's another order somewhere. Let's see what it is. You guys hear that, right? Order submitted. Okay, long. NQ is now long, you guys. It is in the same direction as ES. Long for ES, long for NQ. Okay? Oh, actually, this MNQ. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let me see if NQ got it too. I don't know if it did. We shall see. Nope, not NQ. My apologies. It was MNQ. This is live. There's nothing written here. I'm not reading a script. This is all live. Okay? So it was MNQ. I said, ooh, look at that ugly bar. Where did this come from? It's part of trading, you guys. Look at that. Look at that. Whoa, we just got news, you guys. Something must have happened. If this keeps happening, if it takes out that prior high, we've got news. Something happened. Let's see. If it gets bought out, that's just weekends. If it keeps like that red bar kept developing, something happened. We missed it. Like, okay, there is, all right, that's good news. Guys, that thing that's happening with the social media, where with Truth Social you can buy $100,000 you pay and you get an advance notice. I don't want that to scare you guys, okay? Remember, Citadel and others buy all stock equities information. They know it before everybody else does, okay? And they take losses. Okay, so it's not like Citadel doesn't ever lose, guys. They do. Okay, they do. They have the information before anybody else does, and they still take losses. All right, so don't let that scare you. It's not scary. All right, the market. Remember, these guys are managing billions. If some of them, one of them is at the trillions level, it would be bad if they lost money. You shouldn't want. Oh, there it is. There it is. Let's see if it gets bought up now. We'll see. But that shouldn't scare you. Okay, that shouldn't scare you. If you think about it, if a lot of people hate those guys, like they hate the hedge fund guys. I remember being at a conference once, and someone asked me what I was doing there. I was at a restaurant, and I'd left the conference. Obviously, I'd gone to the restaurant, and I said while I was there, it was a hedge fund conference. You should have seen the looks I got, you guys. I felt like maybe they might jump me or something or beat me up, because they were like mad. They were so mad that the fact that they exist. And it shouldn't be that way, because you have to understand they are managing collectively trillions of dollars. You don't want them to do badly. because all of those people's, all of those, that money is accumulated by wealthy investors, funds, institutions, etc. You don't want them losing money. That would not be good for our world, not just America. It would not be good for our world because most of the world is invested in US markets. So you don't want that, okay? Don't have ill will to someone who's doing well in life, okay? That's fine. Maybe some of you feel, oh, well, that's cheating, Rafi. They have information beforehand, okay? Yes, they told you they have it, okay? And guess what? They are still losing money. There are days and quarters where they take losses, okay? It's just ordinary business. You have to look at trading and investing in general as a long-term thing, but within that umbrella of long-term investments, whether it's real estate, it's bonds, it's equities, you should, if you have excess capital, you should, I think it's still if you don't, personally, have funds devoted to aggressive day trading, but only futures. Never, never, ever stocks. Never. Never Forex. Those are not to be day traded. If you want to lose money, you can do that. If that's your objective, day trade stocks and Forex. If you want to lose money, day trade anything manually. Manually sit there and trade. Over time, you will accomplish your goal, if that was your goal, of losing money, because that's what's going to happen over time. It's impossible. You cannot keep up. You can't go as fast as these tools are going. My machine learning models here, the news that's coming in, you can't be faster. It's not possible, okay? But if your goal is, hey, I'm going to incrementally increase that, I have, let's say, $1 million or $250,000 invested in the markets, in various markets. I have millions in properties. I have $250,000 in, let's say, something like VOO or SPY. I have another $250,000 invested in various stocks. I have another $1 million in my 401k. I'm just going through what typical clients here have told me, just not that I advise them on it, but that's what they've told me that they're doing, okay? Now, they have in their savings account like $400,000 sitting there. Savings account is giving them pennies in return. It's in interest. It's nothing, okay? So why not take some portion of that and put it into aggressive day trading system like this, like what you're seeing on your screen, and have the automation run it. Some days will be losses. Most days, hopefully, will be wins. You have to take both of those, but you can't look at it, God willing, I should have said God willing. God willing, most of those days will be wins, but I can't technically say that either because you can win or lose. Those are both realities. So you can either win or lose. But God willing, as you look at it over the quarters, you will see that if you had put in $50,000 and now you have, let's say, $96,000 in that account, you're like, hey, I'm just throwing out a number. I'm being specific that it's not fair. But let's say it was $100,000 because it doubled. Is that a good investment? It's a very good investment, right? And that's just in a few quarters. So you put in and you expected something a few quarters later, see what it does, okay? So that's essentially the idea. It's silly not to do it. Now, we had the World Cup, we had the Super Bowl in February, we had the World Cup, and I'm watching interviews of people as I was watching the games. I mostly watched it on YouTube, sort of on the side. I was just really listening to the speaker. When they get all excited in their voice, that's when I watch it. Or else it's, I'm not a real soccer fan. So, but when it's exciting, their voice, sort of elevates, and that, makes me watch, what's going on. They were doing interviews in other channels of asking people how much they paid for those tickets. Guys, I could not even believe what I'm hearing. I thought it was not true, but it is. On the low end, it was like $8,000. That's on the low end. There were guys who were saying, oh, for me and 3 of my friends, we paid $180,000. I'm like, what? That's a lot of money to pay to watch a soccer game that I'm doing for free. I'm doing the same thing comfortably. I'm doing the same thing they are. Yes, it's more exciting if somebody's yelling, ole, ole, ole. That's exciting. I get it. But it's not worth that kind of money, guys. The excitement is not worth $180,000. It's just not. Okay? The value proposition simply isn't there. Now, if you have tons of money to burn, you're a crypto bro, and you made like $80 million in your sleep, and you woke up, it doesn't happen anymore. But let's say back in the day you were doing that, okay, when everybody was buying those meme stock, the meme toys, whatever, and they were doing well. They're not doing it anymore. Those are all like down 95% now. And you made a ton of money. I get it. Okay, I get it. You have made all this money for no reason and you feel like this is ridiculous, right? It's sort of like the lottery or lotto winners, right? When they win, 100 million or $1 billion or whatever it is that they've won, all of a sudden you see like they've spent the whole thing, okay? Because it really feels like you didn't earn it. And because you didn't earn it, it feels like you should just spend it like it's nothing, like it's water, like who cares, okay? But unless you're in that situation, it makes no sense. Imagine if those guys had taken that same amount and put it into and invested into lifetime software like this. Not only they, potentially their children would be using it. Okay, why not? And I'm making the upgrades for free. Number one, I love doing this stuff, and number two, that's what you're buying. You're buying. Ultimately, I'm going to be making upgrades, and I've been, as demonstrated. This is version 6. Okay, as demonstrated, that's what I do. If I spot things in the market where I say, okay, this market is different, like I did for PQNews, I had to come up with a way to veto direction because the price action became very dependent on war on, war off news. Okay, that makes price action erratic. There's nothing I can do about that other than to say, you know what, I can veto a direction that is not favorable to my clients. I'll veto that direction. And that's essentially, it's not me vetoing it. I want to be very specific here because I am registered. I am licensed. I cannot veto anything for you. You are enabling it. You know what the software does. You know that it can veto it if there is impactful news. If you enable it, you are essentially vetoing it, not me. Okay? And so you can use it. You can veto it. So that's something that you want to consider. And why not invest in something like that long term and see what it does? It's silly not to, especially if you have excess capital. If you don't have excess capital, I recommend it against all day trading, including futures day trading. Even if you're using my system, you shouldn't be trading if you don't have excess capital. Let me explain why so that people understand. You could take, let's say you enable the system. Day 1, you make money. Day 2, you lose money. Day 3, you lose money. Guess what that person's going to do? That person's going to turn off the system because you'll say, see, I lost money. Well, that's normal operations, guys. Some days are winners, some days are losers. You didn't watch to see for the next few quarters what it does, okay? It's not that every single minute it's going to make money. It just isn't. So NQ is looking like, rather MNQ is not looking good here, but we'll see if it bounces at the prior high. It might go underneath it and come back up. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens. It did it here. It's struggling, guys. It is struggling. But this is the time where, not right now, but probably in about half an hour or so, the struggle over here is becoming more pronounced. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, okay? So let's see if we have anything else going on. I don't think there is. I didn't hear anything else audibly. But then again, when I'm speaking, I could have missed it. So let's just double check. Yeah, NQ has not entered another trade. So NQ has not entered another trade. We are still where we are with NQ. So, see, that it passed prior high in NQ. Oh, by the way, that's another thing. I'm glad this happened. So HigherEdgeAI is now looking at other instruments as well. So if you have ES, it's looking at its family. It's looking at the index family. It looks at RTY, YM, NQ, MNQ, MES, M2K, MYM, all that. It's looking at the family of signals now as well. So it is essentially that way you can determine with a higher degree of certainty which direction one should go. Okay, but this right now, if I were to estimate this at this moment in time, I would say this is not looking well for this trade. All right, guys, look at this. I'm so glad this happened. And it's happening live. All right, thank God it's happening live so I could show it to you. Remember how we said it can remove its veto? It blocked the shorts, right? It still kept that block. And guess what just happened here, guys? Guess what happened here? Let me get this out of the way. Excuse me. Let me get this out of the way. There we go. All right. Let's close this guy. Okay. What happened here? So we have a block. We blocked blocking shorts. Okay. Headline news. Release eligible. What's the release? This. The veto. Short veto remains active, watching support. Now it's just eligible. At R1 at 7760.08. Okay. That's where it was watching it. It's watching R1. That's it. Okay, R1. You can't see it clearly maybe in the video. That's R1 fib and R1. Okay, so R1. And guess what? The veto, gone. The veto's gone. Okay, no more veto. So that means that For this trade, we could take a loss, okay? And you're watching it live. For this trade, we can take a loss, okay? Same here for MNQ, okay? So we can take a loss. We are up over $1,600. So if we take a loss, we're still going to be up for today, but it will be, it's sad to give it all back, but it didn't have to be this way. We could have used the tools that we had. All right. The tool that we have is, again, I don't know if we're going to take a loss, but we might. Okay. It's not, that doesn't look great, but it could recover towards the end because it is Friday. Who knows what it does? Look, guys, here's another thing I want to say before I talk about the high watermark really quickly here. This market is about fading. What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. That means that everything you've ever learned about trading or read in a book about trading, and some of you had magazine subscriptions, anything you learned in a magazine, in a book, online, on a YouTube video is wrong. You're going to say, how could that be, Rafi? All that knowledge wrong? Yes, hear me out. Let me explain why it's wrong. Let's say you were taught in a book or online or in a YouTube video, if you get 5 consecutive green bars, you get it cross through a price level like pivot, R1, whatever. You have some sort of volume support, which is sort of irrelevant and almost counterproductive in futures trading. But let's say in your trading stocks or whatever you were trading, where volume is important, you are supposed to go long. 5 green bars crossed through a price level. You had the volume. Everything is set up. Now, a lot of the books, by the way, that are written are not written about futures. They're written about stocks. Okay. Like I said, in my humble opinion, after doing this for all these years, I started trading in the year 2000, started developing software in the year 2015. So 11 years later, and tons of experience later, it's not just me, guys, hundreds of clients, their input, all the knowledge that I've gained researching, identifying, testing code, all of that tells me that in that situation, you're likely to be faded now. So if you were supposed to go long, right? Guess what the market's going to do? When I say market, who's the market, guys? Who's the market? Who are we fighting against here? The market is a handful of large market participants that have guys like me by the dozens working for them that are trying to essentially maximize their clients' money and charge a hefty performance fee in return. What they can do is they can study how much volume there is in a particular place, a particular level. They will study that, meaning they will store it in memory for their models. I'm doing it too. Guess what it does? If they can overwhelm you, if they can overwhelm retail, you as retail, if they can overwhelm retail, which is 20% of the market, 80% of the market is them, they will. Because they'll say, okay, we have a bunch of stops right below a price level. So you went long, right? And where'd you put your stop? Your book, your Substack, your Reddit guy, your guru on TikTok. They all said you place your stop under that price level. That's what you did. You said, here's the price level. Let's give it 2 handles, 3 handles, something, and put it under there. Okay, you did that. Guess what? The engineers who are working at those hedge funds, my counterparts on those firms, are quite aware of what you're going to do. They know you're going to do that. So if they feel they can overwhelm you, if they can overwhelm you, they will. You being retail, they absolutely will. So they'll go short where 20% of retail went long. It's a handful of them. Will go short. Taking out all those stops, that's when they'll buy where you placed your stop. This doubly hurts. It doesn't just hurt because you took a loss. That hurts. It's never pleasant to take a loss, but I always say, thank God for wins, thank God for losses, because you want to have peace, and God will bless those who can handle the pain, who can handle that pressure. That's what I've seen over the years, so I'm only expressing what I've seen. When it comes to pressure, I don't want to preach to you guys. That's certainly not this video is about. But if you read the Bible, and I've read the Bible in multiple different translations since I was 19 years old. I'm now 51. I've read it cover to cover. Many times I used to teach it to a group of college students at a church. Every one of those men, prophets, disciples, the Lord himself, all suffered. You cannot find one instance, not one, where these great men of God did not suffer. Not one. Literally not one, including the Lord himself. So that should tell us something. That suffering is not the ultimate end result. It's not the end game. What happens during your suffering, how you react to that suffering, is the measure of blessing that you get in return. You don't have to believe me. That's what I've observed. That's what I've read in the Bible, and that's what I have observed and experienced in my life. And so, bear the suffering with a grin on your face and a peace in your heart. It'll be over. This too shall pass. And you will then reap the rewards because you trusted in God. Okay? I'm not trying to preach. I'm trying to help you. Because being a trader can be stressful, and I don't want you to have stress. Okay? If you don't know what you're doing, it can be very stressful. But if you do know what you're doing, you're using the right tools, and you're essentially controlling yourself with your emotions by accepting the good with the bad, you will do, as the quarters and the years go by, you will see what happens. Okay? That's all I have to say. Getting back to all of this, this is a long video, guys. I have to say something. I have to talk, keep you entertained. At some point, I'm going to stop, though, because I will need to take a break. But here is the high watermark. Okay? I didn't forget what I was talking about. The high watermark. If I wanted to protect my wins today, I could have used it. If I'm the type that's nervous about giving back gains, I would have used it. It all depends. See, when do you get concerned about giving back gains? When you don't have overall gains. Okay? That's in my opinion, that's the right way to do this. Okay? The right way to do it is to essentially make it so that if I'm up, let's say I'm up, I look at my account, I started with 50,000, fast forward 6 months, I'm at 120,000. God willing. Okay? God willing, that's happened. I'm up 70,000. Do I have room to take risk here? I do. That's how I view it. Now others are like, Rafi, I don't want to give any of that back. Okay, then you shouldn't do it. You should be very, very defensive on your setup here. But in my humble opinion, if I'm up 70,000 already, then I have room to be aggressive. What if I get up to 100,000? It's not going to cost me anything because I'm already up. So that's how I view it. But others are like, no, I need that money. I need that 70,000. I was going to buy a boat or something. I don't know. They were going to do something with it, okay? I hope you don't buy a boat. I mean, I really hope you don't. The toys of this world come and go. You want to enjoy, you want to ride a boat, no problem. Rent it. There's plenty of guys who will rent it to you. Rent it. Enjoy it. Same with a Ferrari. All those, Charlie Munger, he used to live in Hancock Park, which is about 20 to 30 minutes from where I live, depending on traffic. Used to say all the time, when it came to brands, those are all folly. A Rolex watch, folly. Nothing against those who have Rolex watches. Almost everybody that I know has a Rolex watch, okay? Well, especially traders. They have like multiple. There's one guy, he came to my house actually. He's a relative. He came to my house. He's a trader himself. He's showing me that his Rolex watches, okay, the collection that he's in. Obviously not. He didn't have it with him. He's showing me pictures of it. But it's, a lot of guys have that. But in my opinion, and in Charlie Munger's opinion, whose opinion matters more than mine, it's all folly. Okay? It's all folly. It really is. You don't need any of that stuff. I understand the vroom vroom of a Ferrari or whatever is very interesting. I get it. I went through that phase too. I get it. Okay? I remember talking to my mom and saying, Mom, I'm buying a Ferrari. And she's like, what? What are you, crazy? You're going to buy a Ferrari? Yeah, Mom, I'm going to buy a... No, you're nuts. Nobody needs a Ferrari. My mom was right. Okay? My mom was 100% right. Nobody needs a Ferrari. Nobody. Okay? The only people I've seen who have really bought a Ferrari are trying to prove something to somebody who hurt them in their past, or guys who are trying to, get a girl. Okay, that's what it comes down to. So it's either the gals or the pain of the past. One of those two. Okay, and in my opinion, it's not necessary, guys. Okay, you have to forgive people. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive others. Move on. Okay, don't worry about what's happened in the past. It's in the past. It's gone. Okay, it's water off a duck's back. It's gone. So worry about today. Worry about your future, the next generation, your kids, your children. Worry about what they're going to do. Teach them the right things from the wrong things. Okay, there's a lot of wrong. We're surrounded. This is not heaven. Okay, we're surrounded by wrong. We're surrounded by immoral things. Okay, so we have to teach our children the right from wrong. And it might sound easy to just do what everybody else is doing. Well, I can afford it. I understand you can afford it. I understand. Nobody's saying, but do you need it? If you don't need it, then think of the future. Okay, there are things that you can use with that money that can appreciate. For example, their education. That's good. For example, real estate. That's good because they can use it. Okay, especially if they're using it. And if you don't use it, you can rent it out. Okay, just don't be mean to your renters. Okay, don't stiff it to them. Make sure that they have everything. They have their air conditioning, their heating, their plumbing. Everything works. They're safe and secure. Don't make them live in a place you wouldn't live. Okay, because of safety or security reasons. Don't buy there. Okay, take care of them. Okay. But that's an option that you have, right? Invest in things that matter. Don't go to a soccer game and pay $80,000 for your ticket. That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. To all the ones who did it, God bless you. I'm glad God has blessed you that you could do it. But reconsider, please, for your benefit, for your children's benefit. Reconsider. It's only to your benefit that I'm saying this. Okay, but you could have used, guys, the high watermark. If you don't have that propensity to have risk when you're up, then using high watermark and other tools, you can be very explicit about it. You can say, no. If I'm up $2,000, not there, but net session, the profit gate right there, net session profit. If I'm up $2,000, then you will literally exit from whatever trade you're in upon bar close, because this is a bar close strategy. It calculates on bar close, and it will try to book that $2,000 profit for you right off the bat. So you could be done, is what I'm saying. So that's something that you want to consider. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on now with the ES. Looks like it's recovering. We're still down. This one, we're still down. So we're still down on those two trades, but we are overall up. Let's not forget. Okay, so we're all, again, this is not 1412. It is 1662. All right, that's incorrect information. I explained why earlier in the video, so rewind and you can see how the FIFO system in NinjaTrader's reporting of the strategy performance works. It's a known issue that they've talked about. They cannot, at least so far, have not fixed it. I have fixed it separately using a separate online tool that you can use. It's free to download. Go to my website, pinnaclequant.com. Go to the trading blog page where you can see all the updates. And there you'll be able to download. If you scroll all the way down, you'll be able to download that tool. It's a dashboard. And the dashboard, you essentially upload the CSV file, which comes from the executions tab of NinjaTrader. And there you will be able to run the actual numbers. It gives you the exact numbers without any mistake. Okay. So it looks like it's recovering. It looks like we're up a little bit on that. Did I cover everything? Let me see if there's any other trades that I didn't cover. I trade GC. I trade CL. Yeah, CL. Let me check CL real quick. Still no trades on CL, guys. Sorry, I wish we had a trade on CL. We don't. The model is not feeling confident on CL. And you can understand why. It makes logical sense too. Guys, look at this. We are getting all sorts of news coming out of Iran and the Middle East. How could market participants price things in when one side of a dispute.
Order submitted.
We got something. What is that? Scale-in. Okay, we got a scale-in trade right here on the SPOOs, right there in real time, you guys. So that's the initial entry, enter long 222. We have now a scale-in on the SPOOs on ES. Look at that. Let's see what happens. I have no blocking of any vetoes happening right here. There's no veto. Okay. New score 9.0. Price only release check. I love it. Okay, guys. I felt a little arrogant there. So excuse me, guys. I said I love it. It's my code. So I kind of sort of patted myself on the back there. Forgive me, Lord. I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm not trying to be arrogant in any way, shape, or form. So this is what happened. And so
order canceled.
Whoa, order canceled. What are we canceling? Let's see. There it is. It booked it, you guys. NQ booked it. So NQ has booked that trade, which was looking really bad in the beginning. Okay, I was concerned about prior high. I said, let's see if it goes down, and it got bought up. Okay, so there it is. Again, I don't know how accurate this is going to be. If we had scale-ins, it's not, or else it is going to be accurate. This is MNQ. We are up. We are up in MNQ. That's correct, as far as I can tell. Let me see. The reason I'm saying it is 100% correct is because you'll see there's no scale-in, there's no additional legs here. When it's just this, when it's just inter-long or inter-short, that information is in strategy performance will be accurate. It will be inaccurate if there is a scale-in trade in there. Okay, so we'll see what happens now with ES. 2 active trades on ES. We shall see what happens. Let me check if NQ did anything. Oh, NQ did a tier 2. I had missed this one, guys. Right there. NQ. So you saw that. Remember I was saying earlier in this video that NQ did not have that same long trade that MNQ did. 2 separate instruments, 2 separate price levels. So there it booked it right there. Okay, so let's see what happened with NQ. This is now NQ. We're up 445. You're watching this live, guys. Live, okay? So all of these will be accurate. Again, why? Because there is no scale-in legs here. If it's inter-long 222 or inter-short 222 and no scale-in trades, it will literally print scale. The word scale will be there. Then it's going to be accurate, okay? So we are up. Nothing to write home about, but thank God we're not down, right? Thank God we're up 445. Because it could have gone, look, it's Friday. We have econ news. It could have gone either way. All right, so we're doing well. Let's see, God willing, it does well on ES. Okay, let's see. Let's see. ES right now is an open question. So we will see. The market, well, there's a flatten everything order in place at 12:59. So you could see it. It's not actually in place yet, but it will be as long as we don't disconnect, which is another thing that you guys have to remember. That if you, especially for my European clients, many European clients who first sign on, what they try to do is run it from Europe. Okay, remember the internet hop from Europe to the CME in Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME, is a long set of hops until it gets there. That's the first issue. So the second issue is many of you in Europe have a bad internet connection. I don't know why, but in Greece and other places, I've noticed that they always complain about their internet connection. So anywhere in America or in the world, if you are trading an automated system and you do not have solid, stable internet access, fast speed, you should strongly consider, in my view, going and using a VPS, a virtual private server, and use one of the NinjaTrader ecosystem listed ones, or you'll be spending some time going back and forth with your non-NinjaTrader ecosystem listed VPS provider, which is generally going to be much cheaper, but you're going to spend time back and forth going with them because their setup usually is lacking. Majority of those guys are experts on Linux boxes, okay? And they are usually not experts on Windows boxes. So they'll have setups that are not 100% ideal for Windows and NinjaTrader. They just won't. It won't be optimized for it. But you can eventually get to the right answer by asking them to change the OS that they're using. For example, they might use a particular version of Windows that is not very favorable for NinjaTrader. And if they use the right version, then it works. But you'll go back and forth with them. And NinjaTrader has documentation that you can send to them. And they'll eventually get you on the right setup. But if you don't want to have those headaches, this is relatively, when compared to software that if it was going to be sold as a one-off just to you, is dirt cheap at the current stated prices on the website. It's a fraction of the cost. But if you step back and just look at it versus the other NinjaTrader software tools that are available, indicators that are available, it's expensive. And it's expensive for a very, very good reason, because of the value that it delivers. It's still, in my humble opinion, nowhere near the commensurate value that it delivers. Okay, especially when you look at this over the years that you're going to be, God willing, using it in good health, hopefully. And so, you want to essentially use a VPS, is what I'm saying. And use one from one of the NinjaTrader ecosystem listed vendors. Guys, they're small firms. Majority of them are small firms. One or two of them, two of them at least, are generally considered bigger firms. But a handful of them that are there's about 7 or 8 of them. They're smaller firms, like 1 or 2 person operations, okay? But remember what they've done. They've essentially, most of them have rented out racks in data centers that are usually in Illinois. And so sometimes they're in New York, but generally speaking, they're in Illinois. And they are managing those remotely from wherever they are. And so that's a huge advantage to you, because you have an expert who is in charge of all of them are men. That's why I have to say his here, that I know of. They're all men on the NinjaTrader ecosystem that are in charge of his servers. The smaller ones I'm talking about, not the bigger firms. The bigger firms, I don't know, all of them, but the smaller ones that are 1 to 2 person operations are all men. And so they are going to essentially manage it for you. So you send an email to the guy, and he will, if there's a problem, he'll take care of it for you. You have your own essentially admin running it for you. That's kind of great. And he's going to charge a fee. It's going to be, it could be as little as $80. It can be, $800, depending on where you are. Majority of the clients fall somewhere between $200 to $350 a month. Okay, that's what they're paying. Is it worth it? In my opinion, 100%. 100%. You don't have to worry about your internet connection. It's super fast. They have redundancy. Somebody else is managing it for you, and it's fully optimized for NinjaTrader. Okay, so that's what I would do. In Europe, there's no question. Or Asia, those set of clients, or the Middle East, excuse me, I forgot the Middle Eastern client. All the Middle East, those 3 guys, definitely. I mean, come on, you have to have a VPS here in the US, okay? The others, I'm right now on a pretty powerful gaming machine from CLX, and I'm using it from here, and I'm in Los Angeles. But the ideal situation is, and guys, I have multiple internet connections. If one fails, the other one takes over here. Okay, so it's a failover router. I have not just your typical UPS batteries. I have those too. Each machine has its own. But I also have a whole house generator, standby generator. So on my property, there's a main house and a guest house, and essentially it's powering up everything. So it will. I don't have any electricity issues anyway, but if I did, there is a full expensive backup system in place. So I've done a lot of planning, contingency planning there. So unless you want to spend that kind of time and effort and energy doing that, just pay the monthly fee. Many of you have LLCs and have different ways that you've set up so that you can take tax deductions on this stuff as well. Just one thing about LLCs though, if you're going to be using a brokerage that is not set up for commercial setup, like for example, NinjaTrader, as of this video, and to the best of my knowledge, is not set up for that. So I believe they're still just on retail, so you can't really open up an LLC type of a brokerage account with them. I could be wrong. Check with them, guys. That was the case. But I know Interactive Brokers has no such issues. So those guys are routinely, setting up those type of accounts. So you could set up your LLC and talk to your CPA or your tax professional and see, which one of these things you can deduct. I can tell you from a tax perspective right off the bat, because this is published information, you can read up on it, that trading futures is the best possible thing you can trade versus stocks or anything else, because there's the 60-40 rule. Okay, so look that up. I don't want to make this about a tax video. Look up the 60-40 rule. It has the best advantage that you can have, the best taxing structure that you can have when it comes to trading. Stocks do not enjoy the 60-40 rule. In fact, nobody in their right mind, back in the day, like for example, a brokerage like Scott Trade,
They're not on existence anymore. But when they were around, if they would not allow day traders in their system. So they would basically shut down your account. Then they started allowing it by having the day trader rule, the 25,000 minimum. But I mean, they would not allow it because they were fundamentally against day trading. It just made no sense. So it's nowadays I still see a bunch of stock traders like, yeah, today, bro, I made 4,000. Watch that guy on other days. Okay, and if you watch a YouTube video, and every single YouTube video I've ever watched with this guy has made money, please, guys, okay, take a minute and go, either there is a miracle of God upon this guy. That's a possibility. I'm not saying it's impossible. God, miracles do happen. I've lived through them. Or something much more reasonable, he's lying. Okay, he's lying. He's cherry picking the trades, or if they're trading Forex, please stop watching the YouTube video completely. If they're trading Forex, stop watching the YouTube video completely. Let me show you what they do. They've approached me too, these Forex unscrupulous offshore companies, okay? Here's what they do. These unscrupulous Forex offshore brokers, boom, we are out of the scale and trades on ES. You saw that live right there. We are still in the main trade, okay, for ES. That's the main trade is the interlong. This is the additional leg. Leg 1, scale long 1. We're out of that one. Okay, we're still in this one. So let's see what happens. God willing, it works. I don't know, guys. We'll see. So what they'll do, guys, this is crazy stuff, okay? They will essentially they'll reach out to YouTube channels like mine and others. They've reached out to me, but they'd rather reach out to Forex channels, okay? I never talk about Forex. I'm vehemently against trading Forex, okay? But they've still reached out to me. What they do is they'll say, look, we're going to give you a lot of money, each client you refer to us, okay? Hundreds of dollars will come to you every time you refer a client to us. And it's easy for you. You just plug in your URL. You have all these viewers. They're going to see it. And every time they sign up, we send you money. Isn't that great? Let me tell you why that's horrible and not great. Okay. These Forex brokers, you guys, literally lie. They flip your losses into wins. So if you're one of their affiliates, they will flip your losses into wins. So where you would have your losses, they literally flip it to wins from their end. That's completely illegal here in America. That's illegal. But in the Bahamas, in the Cayman Islands, and other such places, no one does anything about it. That's why they're set up offshore, okay? So they flip those things, and if you're showing losses, let's say you're an affiliate and you have a YouTube channel and you're trading Forex, literally you cannot lose. You cannot lose. Why? Because any loss that you take gets flipped, and that's not the worst part. You would think, oh, they did that in sim, right, Raf? It's simmy. It's simulation. It's not real. No. It makes it seem like it's real, you guys. It makes it seem like it's a real trade. It's not. It's not a real trade. It's a lie. Okay? So they're actually lying. Even the fact that they're saying it's a real trade. So the guy's like, look, guys, I do this for a living for real. Check it out. This is how I made all my money. Look at my 3 Rolex watches. Look at my Ferrari. I have a red color and a yellow color. Which one do you guys like most? The red or the yellow? Huh, guys? Which one? Oh, you don't like Ferraris? No worries. Check out my Lamborghini. Oh, you don't like these low-profile sports cars? You're a big guy. You don't fit in these sports cars? Look at my Rolls Royce, you guys. Look at my Rolls Royce. They have a car for every occasion and for every sucker, okay? Why? Because none of those cars are their own cars. They are rented. You can rent them all over the place. A lot of these guys have their operations set up in places where it's actually easy to rent these cars. You cannot rent those cars very easily in Idaho, but you can in Miami and in Los Angeles and in New York and in San Francisco and other major places and in Chicago and so on. You get what I'm saying? So you can just go rent those cars. You can there's all over the place, okay? Now, they also live in a beach house, because how is that even possible? How did they afford the beach house, Rafi? It's not like there's an Airbnb in this world where you can literally see the guy's house listed on Airbnb, okay? That's what he's got. He's renting a house. He's buying fake Rolex watches in downtown Los Angeles, okay? I used to have a relative that used to work in downtown Los Angeles. He used to tell me all the time, he says, Rafi, they sell the Rolex watches in bags. It's a bag. They sell you the bag of Rolex watches. Each watch is $2. There's like 100 watches in that bag. Okay? Some low price. I can't remember exactly. It was $2. It might have been like $25. I don't remember. Okay? But it was like a low dollar amount, and they sell it by the bag. Okay? It's ridiculous. And it says Rolex on it. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a lie. It's a fake. Okay? So don't believe the hype. Forex, never ever trade Forex, especially if it's an offshore broker. But in general, please do yourself a favor and don't trade Forex. Please. Okay? That's my humble opinion. You don't want to listen, that's fine. I can't make a strong recommendation, okay, because I'm bound by regulations, okay? But if my, God rest her soul, my grandmother would ask me, Rafi, I'm going to trade Forex. What do you think? I would say, Grandma, are you kidding me? Never, never, Grandma. Not ever. If they give you the account for free, no commissions for life. Never. Okay? Never. Do not trade Forex. Not ever. So don't trade stocks. Not ever. Not ever. Please, Grandma. Don't do it, Grandma. To those who are listening, regulators, that was for my grandmother and not specific advice to anybody. Okay? To my grandmother, Grandma, never trade stocks. Okay? God rest your soul. Don't do it, Grandma. Don't do it. So I can't make this clearer, right, guys? So
order canceled.
There it is. We are out. You saw it live. Okay, you saw it live. That's what just exited. You saw it live. Okay, let's see. It's going to be wrong, guys. The information will be wrong because there's 2 scale-ins in there. It's wrong information. We have not taken a loss today. Okay, it's wrong information. We did not take this loss. All right, so 2320. To whoever who just watched this video right now or fast forward, you're like, look at this liar. He just said we did take a loss. The strategy performance shows you took a loss. Really? You missed the part about where I said NinjaTrader has essentially an issue where there is a FIFO reporting issue when it comes to the strategy performance. Show me my loss, you guys. There is no loss. Interlong, win. Intershort, win. Right there. Intershort, scale-in, excuse me. Scale-in short, win. Interlong, 222, win. And guys, that was scary. I won't say that wasn't scary. That was scary. Win. This one, a very good entry. Scaling long, win. Where's the loss? There are no losses today on ES. It doesn't mean it's going to be like this every day, guys. It's still 12:18. We could technically enter another trade for the next 12 minutes because it's set up to go until 12:30, to look for trades until 12:30. But thank God, no losses. Again, that's not a loss. That's incorrect information. So $2,600 is what it's done today for ES. Okay, you're seeing it live. I'm not hiding anything. This is MNQ live. I showed you the wins, and this did have a loss. So did NQ. This is correct. Again, why is this correct? Just to repeat it in case somebody's fast forward. A lot of you guys fast forward through things according to the stats. There's a drop-off rate as well. And it's sad because you don't get the full benefit of everything that I'm showing you, but that's okay. Interlong, intershort, interlong. There's no scale-in trades. So because there's no scale-in trades, it's all correct information. The issue happens when you have a live trade already, like interlong, and it's still live, and a second or third or fourth trade enters on that second, third, and fourth entries. That information could be misattributed in the FIFO system that NinjaTrader has developed when it comes to reporting the strategy performance. Do I have a solution for that? I certainly do. You have the dashboard, the Pinnacle Quant dashboard that you can download for free, and it works on any execution tab. So even my non-clients can rent, anybody who uses NinjaTrader can use it. And it will essentially give you the correct mapping where there is no FIFO issue, the correct mapping of every single trade that you take, okay? So, but this is correct. So for MNQ, this is correct. It is 103. Why? Because there are no scale-in trades. Again, so let's X out of that. We don't need that anymore. Let's take a look at NQ. I was trading a bunch of instruments here today. Where is my NQ? NQ. There you are, NQ. Not at a, oh, thank God. Thank God for everything. Thank God for the wins. Thank God for the losses. So ES is up 2,600. NQ, I don't believe there's a mistake here either. This is all correct. So that's an actual loss. I showed it to you guys, right? For those who don't watch the entire video, they just fast forward. And some of you not only fast forward things, but also have negative comments to say, like, it makes no sense. They'll say, yeah, why didn't you show that? I'm like, why didn't you do that? Yeah, I did do it. You just didn't watch the video. So Essentially, I've made a decision, guys, that all comments are going to be ignored. I don't have time for comments, guys. No disrespect. I want your opinions. Email me. Okay? Email me if you have an opinion to share. If you want to say anything, email me, no problem. But the comments of a guy with a dog on his icon, on his profile page, or some sort of a crypto thing, like he's got like a frog or something, and he says, well, why didn't you do that? And he's mad. He hasn't watched the video. And why didn't you show this? He's so mad about it. I don't know why he's so passionate about this whole thing, but he is. So I don't want to have any stress in my life, guys. I don't want to take the time to respond. And I caught myself actually responding to people. I did that once on one of my videos. I kid you not, you guys. I responded to this guy. This is exactly what he said to me. Well, when I say exactly, I'm paraphrasing, but the message of what he said. He said that I'm wrong and that NinjaTrader is wrong, that Renko bars are accurate. That's what he said. He said Renko bars are accurate for backtests. I'm wrong. And so is NinjaTrader, the developer of the software for NinjaTrader. Okay? They're wrong too. I replied very kindly because he wrote so long, he wrote like a 4-paragraph response, except there were no paragraphs. He just kept writing. And I said, thank you for your comment. But, ignore the fact that I'm a software engineer. I've been doing this for a very long time. Don't worry about it. NinjaTrader, however, would be the right source to determine if something is the case. NinjaTrader says that Renko bars are not accurate when you backtest them. This is not something I'm making up. This is not something that I'm trying to win an argument on. I'm just stating a fact. And I hope this helps you. Take care. Something like that. The guy writes back, you guys. Now he's mad. Before he wasn't mad. He was just passionate. Okay? Now he's mad. Now, I started to wonder for myself. Now he's like getting offensive. Like he's now, trying to make a hurt my feelings type of a way. Okay? And I was like, wow. So for some reason, also another thing I remembered about this guy, he had written this whole response while he was angry. And for some reason, it didn't show his response on his end. I saw it though on mine. And then he copied and pasted it again. So he did the whole, there was 2 replies from him. And they're both, mad. Obviously, it's a copy paste. He's angry. He's mad. I started to think about what would make somebody so mad to a point where he's insulting me with his words. He's not being rational or saying, I have some evidence, against what you're saying. No, he's just mad. And he's now insulting. I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. I'm this. Why am I a moron? No explanation. I'm just a moron. I thought about it, and guess what happened, guys? As I was thinking about it, and I was just watching some of the videos that he had posted on his channel. He's developing his own software, his own strategy. Okay, and he's likely using something like ChatGPT because software engineers don't talk that way. Traders who are losing money do, and it's just I just felt like he's developing his own software, his own strategy on NinjaTrader. And he likely spent months testing everything and optimizing his moving averages that are crossing one another on Renko bars. And the news of me saying Renko bars don't work was a very sad, event in his life because, he just spent months trying to do something that if he had just done a little bit of research, he would have seen that that was not the case. Renko bars are not to be dependent upon. So he was writing his strategy. This is most likely what happened to him. I did not communicate further. But most likely what happened to him is he used the strategy on close bars, okay? And it didn't work, okay? So he basically used minute bars. It didn't work. He said, let me try other ones, okay? Let me try the Renko bars. He tried the Renko bars because it's pretty common. A lot of these indicator sellers developed a lot of software around Renko bars. A lot, okay? Why? Because it looks pretty, right? It looks pretty. People buy pretty things. Why do you think when you go to Vegas, there's these slot machines with all these ding, 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 ding noises and all these beautiful colors and, because it's pretty and it attracts people. It's sort of like a butterfly to the human eye, okay? It's attractive. And so you sort of want to see what it is. And it brings in sales for these indicator sellers, okay? And the guy settled on a Renko bar, and he probably spent months fighting with ChatGPT, cursing at ChatGPT and Claude and whoever else that he used. And ultimately, he came up with a strategy that's looking really good with Renko bars. He optimized it where he said, don't just use the 5-day crosses the 20, but use like also the 10-day has to cross, the 50, etc. He came up with some strategy likely. That's the kind of stuff that, ChatGPT is going to come up with, all right? It's not, if you ask for something advanced, it's going to be horrible, the results, no matter what you do, because it's going to rely on exactly the data that I shared earlier in this video, where it's going to look at Subtract, Reddit, GitHub, all these other places where developers of software developers are releasing the software that they wrote that failed. They released the software that they wrote that failed. It didn't work. That's why they released it. That's why they gave it to you for free. If it was software that worked, they would have never given it to you. Not ever. Okay, so that's what it's going to rely its software on, and it's going to essentially give you bad results. This is ES. The previous one was NQ. Let me just check some other ones, guys. Let's check GC if I had any more trades, because we haven't talked about that in a while. Let's see GC. GC has no further trades. It had that loss. Win, win, win. So let's take a look at GC. GC 1250. Let's see if that's accurate. It is. How do I know? There are no scale-in trades. Okay. No scale-in trades, it's 100% accurate on the strategy performance. Scale-in trades, it will be inaccurate on strategy performance. However, you have several ways that you can determine what is accurate. Number one, the chart itself, that doesn't lie. Number two, executions tab, that doesn't lie. Number three, your orders tab. But the executions tab is the most accurate from all three because that's got everything, okay, that you can use, and you can export it in a CSV. And from that export, you can essentially upload it to the dashboard that I give for free. For clients and non-clients, you can download it and use it. And it'll map everything correctly. All your trades will be mapped correctly, and you will see the exact results. Again, the only time it's going to be wrong is if there is a scale-in trade. Okay, so that was GC. I believe CL remained tradeless. Okay, I'm not surprised. It's strange price action. Look at that, guys. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Just take a look at this. So you have some movement, 6:30, and then
order submitted.
Uh-oh, we got a trade last minute. Let's see who it is. Who is it? Ooh, look at that dying of CL. I wonder who this is, you guys. It is not GC. MNQ? I can't even see MNQ anymore. Not MNQ. ES? Not ES. NQ? NQ. We have a trade on NQ. Okay, enter short. Wow. Let's see what happens, guys. Last minute. Guys, it's 12:29. 12:30 is the cutoff. Let me show you. Sorry. I gave you the performance. I meant to give you the strategy. So the cutoff is 12:30 right there. It is 12:29 right now. Well, now it's, still 12:29. All right. So, ooh. Let's see what happens, you guys. Last minute. It's going to flatten everything out at 12:59. So some of you are with NinjaTrader, and I know you flattened those at 12:44. The NinjaTrader brokerage, I mean. You flattened those at 12:44. We just got news. You saw it live. We got a veto block. Who is this? This is a block. Let me read why. So this is on the SPOOs. We are blocking shorts on the SPOOs, you guys. In fact, wow. What is this? NQ also got the blocking, but that was, right afterwards, you guys. Look at this. 12:29, okay? At 12:29, 54 seconds. That trade entered at before then. It was right there. Okay, so remember I was saying 12:29 before it hit 50. That's almost 12:30. So right after it entered, you guys, we got a block. Doesn't mean this is accurate, but let's see why I blocked it. Force this market short block, macro event. Global stocks headed for their strongest weekly gain. That's why. You got headline news that blocked it. But the actual performance thing right there, the actual HigherEdgeAI strategy rather, did take that trade. However, this if I had now continued from 12:30 on, because remember when it got the news, 54, almost 12:30, after it entered that that short trade, this is essentially now saying it's too strong for us to enter another short trade. Too late. It's already entered that short trade. Okay, it won't do it. So scale-ins will not happen. The scale-ins are not going to happen anyway because it's going to stop looking at 12:30. But let's say I had a longer time frame. Let's say my time frame was 12:45 as opposed to 12:30. It will not happen anymore. So the scale-ins stop now. Okay, but it entered this trade. So technically, we could take a loss on this one. Okay, we could take a loss on it, but we could also take a win. We'll see what happens, or it could just end up flat. We'll see. Any one of those three things is possible. But like I said, now I know some of you have, because this question happens on Zoom calls. So what happens, they say, Rafi, if like this happens, last minute, I'm in front of my computer, because I'm hoping that most of you are doing other things. You might have to be on your computer, but hopefully you're doing other things, okay? Because I designed this because I have a mindset of people should not be sitting on their computers, surrounded by monitors all the time, because that's what happens to traders. I've seen that life, you guys, and I've lived it. So take it from somebody who's gone through this. I remember going to Starbucks, and I had an office in Glendale, California, and it used to be footsteps away, like maybe something like 150 feet away from my office. There was a whole beautiful Starbucks there. I used to walk in there at 5 o'clock in the morning and get coffee. Now I got to know the barista, okay? She was this mom. She had like 2 kids. I remember her telling me she's only working because her husband was working, but they either cut off or did not any further offer health insurance for her family, for their family. And so Starbucks, to their credit, does. I know some of you guys don't like Starbucks. They say liberal. Okay, but the point is that Starbucks does offer health insurance to the family as well. And so she goes, we can have health insurance thanks to this job, even though it doesn't pay as well as I would like. She was an older mom, and she goes, I'd prefer if it was paid better, but it does, to their credit, offer health insurance. She saw me every morning at around 5 a.m. She goes, Rafi, what do you do for a living? I said, well, I at the time I was running RegisterEverywhere.com. I still own it, but it's no longer active. I don't take on any new clients or anything like that on that business. But I'm also a trader. This is this is like decades ago at this point. And I go, almost decades ago, 2 decades ago, almost. So I was like, well, it's I'm a trader. She goes, you trade? I said, yes. She goes, at 5 o'clock in the morning? I said, well, you got to get up early in the morning and you got to see what's going on and this and that. She goes, really? She goes, you couldn't pay me to do that. Like, she goes, I just can't imagine sitting in front of a computer. Like, she goes, that's what you do? Just sit. I go, yeah. And then she goes, you do that all day? I go, yeah, actually at nights too. I do research. She goes, really? She goes, so when do you do others? I go, well, I'm just stuck, doing this stuff. At the time, I didn't have kids. And she's like, well, Rafi, this is a tough life. And I go, I didn't want to tell her, but I had shoulder pain, neck pain. I had gained weight because when you're just sitting in front of a computer and, you get nervous, what do most people do? You eat, right? You start to snack. So I had and Starbucks was right next to me. They don't just have coffee, they have a bunch of things. And so I used to just eat, just eat a lot. And I gained, at some point, I remember, like 38 pounds. Just keep doing that every day, for a year and a half, for 2 years. You watch what happens, okay? And so I gave up. I said, this isn't right. I'm in pain. I'm overweight. I have neck pain. I have shoulder pain. I have back pain. Just, looking from one monitor to the next monitor, looking up, looking down, getting stressed out. Your shoulders tense up when you get stressed out and you're looking like nonstop, looking. You get stressed out. I said, I can't do this anymore.
Okay. Order canceled.
There it is. It is done. You saw it live, you guys. That was the short trade. That had a protective stop in place, and it is out. So I heard order canceled twice, so I'm wondering if, I thought I did at least. There might be another one. So we're at 875. That information is accurate because we have no scale in trades. Okay, you can see the name. All right, let me just check to see if we had any other trades for anybody else. So that didn't have a trade. If anything, MNQ would be my guess. Nope, no trade for MNQ. Let's check the other ones. CL? Nope. Okay, look at this, you guys, for CL. This is what I was trying to show you guys. Look at this price action on CL. I mean, you see me just scrolling through it, right? It's like we're stuck in a, remember those videos where they have the rectangular boxes they draw on the high and the low? We're stuck in that box. We don't want to take a trade in that box, you guys. Sideways price action is something we want to avoid, all right? We want to take advantage of volatility. This is sideways, for the most part, sideways. The market, the reason this happens, the market's not going to make up its mind until there is definitive news when it comes to oil that's coming in. Okay, that's actually awesome. Came in late. That's awesome. That's a good move. This isn't, but this is. But it did not take a trade at this time because it's looking at past price action. It's not depending on. It's not trusting it. Okay, the past price action is just sideways. Okay, so it's not. It does look at past, meaning several days of price action, but it also looks at near term. As I mentioned, every 12 minutes, it is retraining itself in real time. Every 12 minutes. Okay. So in order for that to happen, guys, that was no easy task. I haven't talked a lot about HigherEdgeAI here, but HigherEdgeAI 3.0 is far more advanced than 2.0, and it is the most advanced I have developed. Every idea that I had when it came to that, I put it in. There are still other ideas that I have for 1006, but I had to stop because now it would truly become, it had become mission creep, so I had to really stop. Those other ideas will be implemented in future versions. But for HigherEdgeAI 3.0, I gave it everything in the kitchen sink. It's got, like I said, it's choosing from 3 different models. Let's take a look at HigherEdgeAI really quickly. So it's choosing from 3 different models. I'm going to go all the way to the start. This is how it would have started. You can see HigherEdgeAI 3.0. Welcome. I hope these ML signals bear fruit for you. No guarantee, but I'll do my best based on the data. I have 80%. I could have chosen 90% if I wanted to. You can do that directly from 1006 now, build 1006. I'm sticking with 80%. 90% just essentially makes it a bit more conservative, which means that you may get slightly less trades, but also means that you can have entries later on. So that's another thing. So when that happens, it moves you because it just wrote a signal, so it moves it all the way down. And these signals are being written to a TXT file, which is generated on my machines, my servers, and that TXT file is written on your VPS or your trading machine from my servers. Okay, that is basically a security authentication. In addition to the API key, it is doing the CSV file, the DXT, where the HigherEdgeAI model is learning all of the data. There's a significant expansion in data variables. We have essentially thousands upon thousands of data markers that it's looking, data price points that it's looking at. As far as the engineered data itself, I believe on last count it was 184, if I recall correctly. So it's not just the 60 variables you see in the CSV file, but it's also from that we can engineer other actual variables, data variables, not just price points. So when it comes in, it writes it and it pushes it down, but you can just scroll back up again and see. So it has 3 different models that it's choosing, it's running, and it's choosing the best model based on, it runs a backtest. It takes those signals. It says, okay, let's say I had these signals, model A, model B, model C. I'm going to run it back to see which one would have performed best. And it basically will choose that model. And then it starts writing. So this is how it essentially is going to write it. These signals are more conservative than the previous signals in HigherEdgeAI 2.0. And again, it is retraining. So you can see the live model is active. That happened because I had set it at 520. By the time it actually finished the model, it was 5:21. It said, okay, from now on, it is active. So I scheduled it at 5:20 a.m. By the time it finished, it was already 5:21 and loading all of the historical signals. And then now it's live signals. Okay. So it keeps going all the way until now. So HigherEdgeAI, very advanced multivariate LSTM model, 184 engineered data variables that it's monitoring, and it is retraining itself every 12 minutes. Multi-processing, multi-threading. It'll use every single bit of resource your trading machine has to try to go as fast as it possibly can. All right, so every time a minute closes, you guys, don't expect the signal to be there immediately. It needs time to process it. It can happen in as little as a few seconds. It could take as much as 30, even 40 seconds, maybe a slightly higher, like 45, 46 seconds, depending on how much data it is essentially going through. So it's not, the delivery of the signal is not linear, okay? Just to make that a little bit more simple to comprehend, it does not mean that if it's going to deliver, it's now 1242, within seconds it delivered already the signal for 1242. So if the data that it's essentially processing isn't erratic, the price action is normal behavior, it can give it to you at a snap of a finger, like a few seconds it's there. But, actually longer than a snap of a finger, a few seconds it's there. But if it's like giant green bar followed by giant red bar followed by medium-sized green bar followed by a doji bar, these are, that's signs of erratic price action. Okay, we don't know which direction it's going in, so the model will have to do further analysis and it will take longer for the signal to come in. Okay, so this is why I'm showing this to you guys now live, right? You're seeing everything live. When you run the same exact signals that this produced in live in a backtest, it won't match up perfectly. It's very difficult for that to happen. It's possible sometimes, but very difficult for it to have a perfect match to the backtest. You say, why, Rafi? How could that be? Well, in a backtest, you have, as I just said, this is delivering the signal to you a few seconds later. So what? What's a few seconds between friends, Rafi? Here's the difference. For a model, for a machine, few seconds is the world, okay? Why? Because we are calculating the strategy at bar close. So let's say you have 59th second, right? What happens on the next second? We have a new minute, right? So 59.9, it's gonna flip over to, it's not gonna show you 60, but it's gonna flip over back to the first second, because now it's second 1, second 2 of the next minute. So, but there is now a discrepancy of seconds. Okay, so either you're going to have an entry later on. Actually, in most cases, the backtest will show the entry earlier, in most cases. But you could also have it later. So if you're looking for the backtest to be an exact duplicate match, it's impossible. It's literally impossible for any machine learning model to give you, that's writing signals, and those signals are being analyzed and executed upon in the strategy to match it up perfectly. It's not possible. Not if you're using specifically when I should say, it's not possible if you're using a strategy that calculates on bar close. It's now impossible, okay? So if you're running a backtest, you have to understand how the backtest engine works. If you're using a strategy that is using the calculations on bar close, the backtest is looking at the time. So it's looking at, let's say 12:30:00. That's the time, okay? Yet you got the signal at 12:30:06. That's a totally different minute, okay? And so that is why you're going to see a discrepancy. So it won't be like moon and stars discrepancy, like one is to the moon, the other one is in the valley somewhere. No, it's not going to be like that. But there is going to be a difference, okay? Many times the clients have observed that live was actually slightly better than the backtest. You probably thought I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say the backtest is slightly better. Sometimes that is the case. The backtest is slightly better than the live. But the difference, though it'll be there, it won't be like, whoa, one had a gigantic win, the other one had a gigantic loss. It's not going to be like that. There's going to be a difference in the entries, therefore the difference in the exits. So there's going to be 1 minute difference makes, 1 bar, I should say, difference makes a difference, guys. Think about the bar. Okay, let's just talk about bars. So how could 1 bar make a difference, Rafi? 1 bar, what are we talking about here? 1 bar. Let's look at something that's right in front of us, shall we? So let's look at ES. Okay, what's a 1 bar? All right, let's give you a crosshair here. If it loads, please. No, not gonna give me anything. Okay, it's somewhere behind. There it is. There it is. Okay, so let's look at this bar. Okay, you guys see the difference in the bar? Let's make it closer. Or this one. Okay, that one. Look at the high, 7.7. 778.25. Look at the low, 7774.25. That's exactly 4 handles. That's $200, you guys. So is there going to be a difference between an entry that happened here, let's say here, versus an entry that happened here? So if the entry had happened here, and let's say it had booked that profit, let's just assume, right? The whole thing is hypothetical right now. So let's assume that it's here to here, and let's say it had booked the profit. Is that different than if it had entered here and here and had booked the profit? Yes, it's a $200 difference in just one bar. So there's going to be, and that's just a small bar, you guys. We get bars sometimes, as you guys have seen if you've been trading for a while, that are just super gigantically big. Okay, so you have to deal with that. It's going to be different, but it's not going to be that different where it's going to be the live is so much different than the backtest. Now, speaking of backtest, in fact, for those of you that are still, we're not going to get into our trades, so I'm going to be wrapping up this video. If you watch this whole video, God bless you. You're in a rare group of people, because most people don't watch videos, sadly. I don't know if it's just my videos or just videos in general from YouTube, that long. And so if you have, God bless you. Hope you do very well. And of course, to the other ones, I hope God bless you too. May you do very well. I haven't forgotten you. In any case, let me show you guys. I ran some back tests as well. Again, everything that you saw was live. These are back tests. The first 4 are using 80%. So this one is 80%. This is ES. This is going back to January 1st of 2024. All right. So January 1st of 2024 until August 6th, which is yesterday. This is ES. 1 contract. Remember, I said this is more conservative. So that's something you want to bear in mind. In previous versions, it was far more aggressive. So it would take far more trades, particularly on the scaling side. This is far more conservative, so it will take significantly less trades on the scaling side. You saw it live today. It does take it. It's just more conservative. This is 1 contract. This is 2 contracts for ES at 80%. A lot has happened between yesterday and today, guys. My kid is... I'm sure your children are too. If you still have kids that are in school, they're getting ready for, one of them, Michael, who I've talked about before, who's on the spectrum, the blessing from God, who has a photographic and near photographic memory, and who can run circles around his pops when it comes to math and patterns. It's absolutely incredible what he can do with his mind. It's an absolute blessing. It starts his high school. So I'm very excited about that. He's excited. I'm going to share something that, sometimes he watches these videos. I don't think he'll be watching it this long, but let's see. I said, he went yesterday for the orientation. He was there all day. I said, what did you do? He goes, I went to my classes. I go, anything interesting? He goes, I talked to a lot of girls. Oh, God help me. So this is where we're at in my personal life. And so anyway, this is 80%, but the difference is 1 contract and 2 contracts. And also there's another difference that I recalled. We are essentially running 300 here. And here it's doubled up. Okay. So that's what you're seeing. That's what you're seeing. And also 1 is for ES and the other one was for NQ. So this group is 80%. This group is not, okay? So let me just go in. So there are 8 tabs. I don't know if you guys can see everything in the video. If it's going to capture it all or not, I hope. This is ES, 1 contract. This is 1 contract. This is 2 contracts. This is this is NQ at 1 contract. NQ at 1 contract. And this is NQ at 2 contracts. Now we're at the 90% mark. You can see it by the actual file name. This is ES for 90% on HigherEdgeAI threshold for 1 contract for the spoos for ES. This is still 90% for ES, 2 contracts. This is NQ at 90% for 1 contract. And this is NQ at 90% for 2 contracts. Okay. We'll go over these in our calls. And if we have a Zoom call, we can certainly go over details, but you guys saw everything in live. So before I sign off here, let's go ahead and see if, there's not going to be anything further. That's going to be it. GC. We have MNQ. CL had no trades. You guys saw that. And finally, ES, which did really well. It had no losses. Again, don't worry about what it shows. That's wrong. That scale in trade was misattributed. Okay, so it's the opposite actually. The scale in trade had a 250, had a small win. The bigger one was the main trade, which is the inter. So that's wrong. You could see it on, just in case you guys didn't watch it, you can see it here. Okay, 630, no losses. That's the one that it messed up on. Messed up, meaning it misattributed the actual win. And that's the final one. And that's actually, that's the final one. All right, guys, that's it for this video. God bless. Take care of yourselves.